just going to be a little segment that I'm going to be hosting almost every single week, talking about what is happening in the car world. You know, I do a lot of news, I do a lot of yapping, so I figured I would expand this and just talk about general issues rather than focusing on one. First issue of the day, a second class action filed against General Motors for defective transmissions. Now, we've known that the Chevy Shake and other various issues with GM vehicles have been problems since the 2000s, but this is now the second class action lawsuit filed against General Motors. This doesn't look very good for the company, considering they just make garbage, and it seems there is gleaming hope for GM to be held accountable for these awful garbage pieces of shit cars that they've just been crapping out for the past few years. A lot of people hope that they might, take responsibility for it instead of pretending like it didn't happen. I personally think they're just going to shirk off the blame, make some press statement, and then we're never going to hear about it again. And then 2 weeks from now, they're going to be gloating about their EVs. That's just how General Motors work. I think this could be revolutionary, holding, car companies accountable when they do something wrong. A lot of times people are especially people in government, are very shy to talk about, car problems, just because they bring in so much money to the economy, to talk about it when they do things wrong. But, shirking off problems on their cars to the buyers is definitely not something that they should be doing. So this class action lawsuit could definitely change the tides a little bit for this new dishonest wave of unreliable, more expensive vehicles that we are currently seeing. Also, another very interesting thing, the former VinFast and Nikola CEO to replace resigning Polestar boss. Now, if you don't know, Polestar is personally my favorite EV car company. Now, it is Chinese, right? Essentially, Volvo was a Swedish car brand along with Saab. They were very similar car companies. Saab got bought out by General Motors, and things went well for a little bit, right? Polestar got bought out by Volvo, and then Volvo got bought out by a Chinese car company named Geely. And together, they kind of split Polestar off from Volvo. They used to be two in the same. And now, Polestar is making their own cars. I would be 1,000 times more likely to buy a Polestar than a Tesla, just because I think their fit and finish is a lot better. I have hope for the company. One thing that I didn't see coming is the former VinFast CEO coming back as the Polestar boss is resigning. The company is looking to go in a new, modern, futuristic design to compete with other Chinese manufacturers like VinFast. Tesla and GM and all these other car companies have really been shaking in their boots to just see what these Chinese brands will be able to offer in terms of price. As you know, these car companies have been able to get away with overcharging people for EVs and doing this for the past couple years. So now that there's actually competitiveness in the market from car brands that can undercut their prices, that's going to be very difficult for them. And that's why I'm guessing Polestar has chosen the former VinFast CEO, as I mentioned before, a Chinese electric car company manufacturer, to be their new CEO, to hopefully angle the company in the correct way to compete with these other Chinese EV brands. As I said before, Polestar technically is a Chinese EV brand. They're built a lot better. Their quality's a lot better. I would be at Volvo. If I needed to buy an EV, a brand new EV, I would definitely buy a Polestar. So, yeah, In other news, the Chrysler great-grandson wants to buy Dodge. Stellantis says no thanks. If you don't know, Stellantis is a very idiotic, stupid car company. They are enamored with EVs. Their sales are falling. Their stockholders are getting mad. They're not making any profits. It's going very, very bad. And Walter Chrysler's great-grandson, the person who originally founded Chrysler, wants to buy Chrysler or Dodge because he's seeing what's happening to these car companies. And Stellantis selfishly says no thanks. If you don't know, Chrysler only has one vehicle. Dodge will only have one vehicle within the coming years, and I'm guessing Walter Chrysler's great-grandson doesn't want to see these car companies end and die like this. But Stellantis says no thanks. They want to try and fix it, and if they can, that'd be great. But I don't think they can. They're just being selfish. They have no plans to fix the company. This is very sad. I don't know really what we were expecting. Some lighter news after this, the Hyundai Palisade. We can laugh at this collectively, as it is a hideous piece of garbage. I'm sure it will be excellently unreliable. I already hate how the headlights are so weirdly positioned. I think this is an ugly, hideous car. That's just my entire view on it. The interior looks pretty much what you would expect for a Hyundai, Pretty hideous. I hate their new logo. I hate the screens. I hate everything about it. I'm sure it's all cheap plastic, and if it's leather, I'm sure it is made out of plastic as well. The Hyundai logo looks out of place, and this grille is so gigantic for what I'm guessing will be an EV. In even lighter news, a happy news, and actually a good car, Volkswagen unexpectedly has announced the California Campervan company. So, we've seen this new, the 60s, we've seen these campervans very popular. They came out with a new concept, well, we're putting it into production, which was this, I believe, all-electric, gigantic party bus, right? They're bringing that back into production, kind of the new minivan era. And that was all cool and all, but I would really love to see one for the masses. Van life is becoming an everyday thing. I might even do it. I mean, here in Florida, water's getting higher and taxes aren't getting any lower, so hey, might have to. So I'm really happy to see that they're actually announcing a good vehicle. Like, this looks like something I would drive. It's not, the styling's not over the top. I think Volkswagen, if they continue this up, I just might like Volkswagen more and more. I've been paying more attention to them over the past few months, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing. They've seemed to be a car company that in the past hasn't catched up, in my opinion, with the quality of Toyota, Honda, other Japanese car auto manufacturers. Well, not other, they're German. But I think that them going in this direction and having the expensive EV one for people that need that, and the everyday men's, just nice camper van, I think that's definitely going to be a succeeding area. And I'm very impressed with what they've done here. It takes guts of steel to admit that you're just, a normal car brand. Honda hasn't been able to do that in forever. They're still trying to convince themselves that they're a luxury brand. They're just not. Volkswagen's aware of that, and I'm happy to see that they're leaning into it here by, actually making cars that the people want. I think that wake-up call where their, sales went down was definitely very good for them. Also, the Volvo XC90 may get an update. If you don't know, the Volvo XC90 is a car best not updated. I believe it first came out in the 1990s and was not updated until 2014, where it was then updated to this mild hybrid version. Pretty good gas mileage, not bad at all, and we've had that all since now until 2024. Volvo as a car company, now that they're more separated from Polestar, is looking to make, nicer, more luxurious vehicles, so I'm sure that they're redesigning the XC90 to compete with cheaper garbage. As I said, Hyundai's trying to position themselves as some sort of luxury brand now. I think that's hideous. I would much rather ride in anything Volvo makes than anything Hyundai would ever make. I'm sure this rebrand is going to be good. I don't think they're going to do anything stupid. They're a classy car company. They may not be as reliable as the other car companies, but they have class, you know what I mean? And just having class alone in this crazy car world is good. Next thing happening, GMC as a car company, or GM as a total, feels that after their gigantic transmission recall, and also engine problems, we'll get into that later, that they should gloat about their new EVs because it has neither their engine or their transmission. Yes, it's that crazy. So, their transmissions stink, their engines stink, so the only thing they can gloat about is their GMC Denali EV Edition 1, whatever the word salad they put there. They're talking about how it's going to beat the Ford F-150 Lightning. Just how ironic that is. The Ford F-150 Lightning opened with terrible sales. Ford said EVs, we're not going there, right? We may just keep this around for a little bit longer, but our further EV plans are discontinued. We just make normal cars and hybrids, right? So GMC is gloating about how the technology that a big car company has already said they don't want to do, and is gloating about how they're still in it. If you don't know, GM also has Hummer, which is another EV car company. I think all this is ridiculous. I think this is going to be a massive, gigantic failure. I think the interior is hideous. I think the entire car is hideous. I would much rather drive the F-150. Ford as a total. GM is falling apart. Nothing really new there. Yes, Ford engine failures. Investigation expands new models nearly 709,000. That is gonna sting for GM, and I hope it hurts like hell. The National Highway NHTSA, NHTSA, sounds like a sneeze, documents posted on Monday. The website is grading its investigation. So, like I said, we've talked about this before. This one was for transmissions. This one's for their engines. I always clown on Kia and Hyundai for not being able to get their wiring, transmissions, or their engines right. I think that might be GM now. Also, this is what I'm talking about. BYD has announced the new Seal. Now, the BYD Seal is their, sedan/hatchback competitor. It's competing with the Tesla Model Y, also the 3, and the formerly mentioned Polestar 2/Polestar 4. Yeah, around there. And they have announced an possibly under $20,000 hot hatch. This is what I'm talking about. If they can do it, so can GM. These car companies that are making EVs, I don't care whether it's the BZ4X, I don't care whether it's the Prostate, I don't care whether it's the GMC Denali EV, they are overcharging you. And a $21,000 EV hot hatch, hot hatch period, is very good. Electric hot hatch for $21,000, that slaps. They can make cheap and affordable cars. They are purposefully gouging you. So, with that, there's not much else to say. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I think this was a pretty good edition of Car News. I like Polestar. People like Polestar. I would probably buy a Polestar. That's it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I had fun making this video.